Hello, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com and welcome to my unboxing video for the Amenti Oracle by Jennifer Sodini. So this is what the box looks like. In the back of the box. It's actually a really nice, sturdy box. So let's open it up and take a look. Okay, so this deck, I love the inside of this box. This is so pretty, so beautiful. I love the matte finish as well. I think that's really a nice touch. So this deck comes with a guidebook, and I have peeked at the guidebook. I've read probably half of it so far, and it gives a lot of really interesting information about sort of the process in creating this deck, why this deck was created, how it was inspired, the whole intention behind the deck, which is really, really fascinating. And there's some excellent descriptions of each card. And there's also a few different spreads to try out, which is neat. I haven't tried any of these spreads yet, but I will. So the book is really good, lots of good info. My only complaint about the book is it's kind of hard to look up the cards because the cards aren't numbered. So you kind of have to flip through all the descriptions till you find the exact card. But really nice little book. And then the deck comes in its own box as well. It has a really nice Egyptian kind of flair to it. Okay. So let's talk about the card stock. So card stock is matte, has a matte finish, and thickness is pretty decent, pretty nice quality cards actually. And a nice size too. They're more kind of rectangular, but I have shuffled these cards and I have little hands and they're fairly easy to shuffle and work with, so that's nice. So I'm gonna just show you each card. We're gonna slowly go through the deck so you get kind of a feel for each card. I was really drawn to the style of the art on these cards. I really like the simple, clean style of the artwork. I find more and more, the older I get, the more I work with cards, I really appreciate a really clean, kind of simple look. Oops. I feel like the camera just got blurry, so I'm going to go back and show you these cards in case it was blurry for these ones. This figure, this girl on this card totally reminds me of someone. I'm not sure who. I love this card. This is so beautiful. And this one's so beautiful. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the star in the tarot. I feel like this is a really good deck for just doing readings on yourself. I mean, you could definitely use this to do readings on other people, but I feel like this is like a really nice deck just for self-work, for inner work and for reflecting and journaling and that kind of thing. I also feel like this is a really beautiful deck, a really powerful deck for doing like one card readings, which I'm a big fan of. I find the less cards I use in a reading, the more powerful my readings are. And so I often will look for, especially when it comes to oracle card decks, I look for decks where, you can really have a good one card reading. And I feel like this is a good deck for that. And once I finish going through this deck, this is a really beautiful one. I love this one. I will do a sort of a mini reading for you just to see how this deck reads and to get kind of a feel for this deck. Because I mean, I think it's all well and good to just look at each card, but ultimately you want to see how the deck reads when you do a reading with it. I love how colorful this deck is. And this is called a feather heart deck. And at first I wasn't sure what that meant. And Jennifer explains it in her book. And it has to do with, in Egyptian mythology, there's this idea, this story that once you die and you go to the afterlife, your heart is weighed on a scale. And on one scale is your heart and the other scale is a feather. And ideally, if the lighter your heart is when you pass, the more chances that you will, I guess, go to heaven. So the goal is, well, it's not called heaven in Egyptian mythology, but the goal is to have a light heart when you pass over, and to live your life with a feather heart, which I think is a really, really powerful message. So this deck has definitely a very mystical Egyptian kind of feel to it, but it also has a really modern feel. It's like the perfect combo of, modernness. It has like the artwork has clean lines and wonderful colors, but there's also this sort of ancient wisdom imbued throughout the deck, which is really lovely. I like this one. I keep my own counsel. This is a really gorgeous card. Okay, now I think this is where I started, right? I can't remember. I think I might be repeating these cards. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to shuffle this deck so you can see how this deck shuffles. But one more shuffle. So I'm going to draw a couple of cards. I'm going to draw 2 cards. And my intention with this reading is just to see kind of what message we need to hear right now. What message this deck has for us about just life in general. I feel like each deck I own has like one powerful message that it wants to give me. So let's see. Okay. So this card says, I can be trusted. And there's this palm of a hand and there's a feather inside the hand, but it makes me think of a key. It makes me think of like a hand holding a key and being trusted with some kind of secret arcane knowledge. But really what I feel this card is about, what the message is, I feel like it's about trusting yourself and really honoring yourself and being able to trust being able to trust not just your feelings or your intuitions about something, but being able to trust that you will honor those feelings and that you'll be able to drop down into yourself and communicate with yourself on a deeper level and really also stand up for yourself and be able to assert your boundaries, be able to speak for yourself and be able to ask for what you need. I feel like this is really about trusting yourself. And I recently had this experience lately of not trusting myself, and then slowly reacquiring that sense of trust. And it was a really interesting experience to feel how it feels when you feel a little bit disconnected with yourself and you're kind of overwhelmed by your feelings. You don't really trust yourself and you're like, I don't know what my intentions really are. I don't know what I want here. And then to be able to learn a little bit about yourself, to sit with those uncomfortable, chaotic feelings and be able to gain a sense of empowerment and trust, and being able to trust yourself, and that you will honor your feelings, ask for what you need, assert your boundaries, act accordingly. I don't know if any of that made sense, but it made sense to me. I hope it made sense to you. So let's draw one more card. So this is kind of what message this deck has for us. Okay, so this card says, I do the best I can. And what really draws my attention here is the two sides of her robe. There's a dark side and there's a light side. And I feel like this is ultimately about, we have a shadow side, we have a light side. There's, two sides of the same coin. There's polarities and opposites that are always within us. And it makes me think of, the divine masculine, the divine feminine that is within us, the dark, the light, all that stuff, the part of ourselves that is extroverted and giving and action-oriented, and then the part of us that is introverted and that can go within and is intuitive and receptive. And the message of this card is, well, actually, let me go back to this other card, because I feel like these cards go together nicely. And I feel like part of trusting yourself, part of being a trustworthy person who others can trust and others can feel safe around, is being able to be an integrated person, to be fully aware of the different polarities within you, to be aware of all the different sides of your personality, your dark side, your light side, all that stuff. Having that awareness and being able to integrate it and be more whole is what makes you a trustworthy person. Not just, a person that other people are going to be able to trust, but someone that you can trust. I mean, you can trust yourself when you know yourself really well. And so I feel this card about, doing the best that you can. What does that mean? I do the best I can. I feel like we do the best we can based on how much we know about ourselves, how much self-awareness we have. And I feel like there's more to this card, so I'm just going to spend a moment looking. There's this beautiful sort of crescent shape above her, like a sun or a moon or something. And I love these things on the palms of her hands. It's like energy moving outward. If you have any, feeling about this card, if there's anything you want to share about this card, feel free to do so in the comment section. I feel like I've gone as far as I can with it in the time constriction that I have. But yeah, I feel like this is a very powerful message. I also feel like it's interesting that the palms are figured prominently in both of these cards. We have the lady here is holding up both of her palms, and then here again there's a palm being held up. So there's this theme of hands with these two cards, and I feel like on the one hand, our hands are very powerful. We can channel energy. We can perceive things with our hands. Our hands are very, very sensitive. We can feel energy with the palms of our hands. We can move energy. And then there's also this kind of idea of what you need is always in the palm of your hand. So very, very lovely cards, very beautiful message. Okay, so I'm just going to shuffle this deck again before I put it away. So really, really a lovely, lovely deck. And like I said, I feel like this deck is ideal for doing like work on yourself, doing self readings. And I'll show you the box once more. It's called the Amenti Oracle. And if you're interested in finding out more about this deck or purchasing this deck, I'm going to put the link to purchase in the description box just below this video. So if you're interested, you can check that out. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and have a wonderful rest of your day.